Hello Pumas, this is Mrs. Buddan with your Lesson 2 of Fiction and Non-Fiction for Literacy. Your resources for today are pencil and paper from your home learning packs, and if you have got some, maybe a range of fiction or non-fictional books just to have a look at the features. And today's learning target is, I know that non-fiction books are arranged by topics in a library. And by the end of the lesson, you should be able to review the features of non-fiction books, be able to understand how fiction and non-fiction books are arranged in a library, and to create your own topic web. Are we ready? First of all, let's review the questions from your last lesson where you had to list the features of a non-fiction book. These were the questions that you had to answer after reading the non-fictional text. Number 1, on which page would you find the contents? Number 2, where can the index page be found? Number 3, what is the information book? What is the information about in this non-fiction book? And number 4, can you find and name an interesting fact? And number 5, on which pages can you find diagrams and labels? And remember, in that last lesson you had to read a non-fictional book independently in order to find that information. I wonder how you all got on. Question number 1, on which page will you find the contents? And the contents was actually on one of the first pages, right at the very beginning of the book. And you can see there, when animals invade, and you can see it's got the contents there. So animal invaders on page 2. If you wanted to look at the rats in the UK, you would turn to page 12. Monkeys in India on page 8, and so on. So that was where the contents page was located. Did you get that one correct? Question number 2 asked you, where can the index page be found? And you can see the index page could be found on page 16 of the book, which was actually right at the back. And you can see there the index. If you needed to look up the word crops or what crops were, you needed to turn to page 11 in the book. Can you remember what we discussed about the index, and that it is set out in alphabetical order? Question number 3, what is the information about in this non-fictional book? And remember, in the last lesson we looked at the back of the book, which gave us some information, the blurb we called it. So the information is about when animals invade where we live. Did you get that one correct? Question number 4, can you find and name an interesting fact? Now I turned to this page, pages 10 to 11, about the raccoons in Germany. And you can see where I've got my arrow pointing. It says there were 2 raccoons in Germany in 1934, and now there are over 1 million. I thought that was a very interesting fact. It may be that you found that one too, or you may have found a different one of your own. It doesn't matter, as long as you were able to find something interesting to learn about that you didn't know before. Question number 5, on which pages can you find diagrams and labels? And you can see it was at the very beginning of the book on pages 2 to 3, where it talks about animal invaders, and it says sometimes animals invade places where we live, and you can see that there is a map of the world with different arrows pointing to where the different animals come from. So those were the diagrams and labels. Did you find that page? I hope that you found the non-fiction book Animal Invaders very interesting and learned lots of interesting facts. We are now going to read some information about library books. Remember to pay careful attention to the information, as there will be some questions at the end. Let's take a look and read the text. The library. The books in the library are arranged in two groups, fiction and non-fiction. Fiction books are stories about people and events which have been invented by the author. Non-fiction books give facts and information about people, places and things. Fiction books. To find a fiction book, we need to know who wrote it, because fiction books are placed on the shelf according to the first letter of the author's name. Joan Aiken books are on a shelf A, Leela Berg on shelf B, and so on throughout the alphabet. Non-fiction books are grouped in topics, and as you can see in the illustrations, you can see that the books on the top shelf are all in alphabetical order by authors' names, and you can see the non-fiction books there, different books on animals, so they are arranged according to the topics. Pause the video here to reread this information yourselves or to take a closer look at the information. Here is a topic web, and you can see that the main topic is animals, and the word animals is right in the center of the web. The subtopics are the different kinds of animals, so you can see the main topic animals, and then the subtopics are different animals: horses, tigers, moles, mice, dogs, elephants. And you would find books on these topics on the animals shelf. So, for example, if you were going to the library and you wanted to look at all those animals, you would pick up the book Animals off the shelf, and it would have all those sorts of animals inside. It is now your turn to try and answer some questions about today's information about the library. Pause the video here to answer these questions. Here are your questions. Number 1, what are fiction books? Number 2, what are non-fiction books? Number 3, what do we need to know to find a fiction book? And number 4, fiction books are arranged according to the authors, and you need to fill in that space. So look back at the information and answer those questions in complete sentences using your pencil and paper from your learning resource pack, and then we will look at the answers on the next few slides. Question number 1, what are fiction books? And you can see in the information about the library, fiction books are stories about people and events which have been invented by the author. Were you able to find that information out? Well done. Number 2, what are non-fiction books? Non-fiction books give facts and information about people, places and things. Were you able to find that answer in the information? Well done for question number 2. Question number 3, what do we need to know to find a fiction book? And you can see there in the information, fiction books. To find a fiction book, we need to know who wrote it. So we need to know the author's name. Well done if you got that one correct too. And the last question in this section is number 4. Fiction books are arranged according to the authors. And if we look down under the subheading fiction books, to find a fiction book we need to know who wrote it, because fiction books are placed on the shelf according to the first letter of the author's surname. So it's arranged according to the author's surname. Well done if you managed to get all those 4 questions correct. It shows me that we are brilliant at fiction and non-fiction books. Ooh, just when you thought you may have finished, there are some more questions to answer about this particular information about the library. It is now your turn to try and answer some more questions about today's information on the next slide. Pause the video here to try to answer these questions. Number 1, what main topics would have these subtopics? So A, Venus, Earth, Jupiter and Mercury. Think about what those are and what would the main topic be if you had to look for a book, for example. And B, you have chaffinch, eagle, ostrich and parrot. What would the main topic be for those? Think about what they are. And number 2, it says, suggest 3 subtopics for each of these. You have fish, you have transport, and you have famous people. So what subtopics could you have if those were your main topics? Have a think, and we will look at some suggestions on the next few pages. Let's take a look at A, where it says Venus, Jupiter, Earth and Mercury. These are all part of our solar system. They are all planets. So it may be, if you went to the library, you would pick up a book on the solar system and find those as your subheadings. Did anyone get that one correct? Let's take a look at B, chaffinch, eagle, ostrich and parrot. Now then, did you figure it out? These are all types of birds. So the main topic would be birds. So it may be, if you were interested to learn about chaffinches or eagles or parrots, you would go to the non-fictional section and pick up the book that had the topic called birds. So well done if you managed to get that as the main topic. How are you all doing so far? Let's take a look at the next section, which gave us the main topics, and then you need to think about what the subtopics could be. So the main topic is fish. So if you were given a main topic of fish, what types of fish could you have as your subtopics? Let's take a look on the next slide. Here are some examples of the types of fish that you could have had. Goby fish, anabass, eel, catfish, snapper, skatefish, anchovies. It may be that you chose different types of fish for your subtopics, but as long as they were fish, that would have been fine. So well done. Transport was given here as your main topic. I wonder what subtopics did you choose for transport? Oh, Mrs. Buddan was able to find lots of different subtopics for transport. Vans, taxis, police cars, buses, ambulance, scooters, tractors, cranes, helicopter, aeroplanes, trains. There were lots and lots of different types of subtopics that you could choose to go with transport. So well done if you managed to get any of those. And the last one in this section was famous people as your main topic. I wonder what famous people's names did you come up with for your subtopics? Here are some famous people that Mrs. Buddan chose from the past, and some of these you may not have heard of and some you may have heard of. For example, Albert Einstein, Michael Jackson, Charlie Chaplin, Abraham Lincoln, Nelson Mandela, Princess Diana, Christopher Columbus. There are lots and lots of different famous people that you could have chosen. You may have had celebrities, you may have had your favourite singers, your pop stars, your footballers. There were lots of people you could choose from as your subtopic. Well done. I hope you all enjoyed that short activity. It is now your turn to actually choose your own main topic and what subtopics you might include. Pause the video here to take a look at how you might set out your web. So for example, you need to have the main topic in the center and the subtopics branching off. And you can choose, as I've said, whatever main topic you'd like. It could be something to do with animals, it could be something to do with people, it could be transport, it could be birds, it could be flowers, it could be books. You can choose whatever main topic you like and then write the subtopics that go along with it. So today's learning target was, I know that non-fiction books are arranged by topic in a library. And today you should have been able to review the features of a non-fictional book, which we did at the beginning by looking at the last lesson's questions. You understand how fiction books and non-fiction books are arranged in a library because you looked at that information all about the library, and you are able to create your own topic web using your own main topic and subtopics to go around it. I wonder how well you have done with your work today. Well done everyone for doing some fantastic work today about fiction and non-fiction books. Don't forget to share your work with us in school, whether it's through the WhatsApp using the school mobile number, by email and emailing it to the Pumas address, or on your walks and posting it through the school letterbox. I am really looking forward to seeing what some of your topic webs look like. Until next time, bye for now and take care.